Then let's talk about what externality means. Okay. In order to understand this externality, let's think about the market. Let's say this is the market. And there are two group of people. First one is the buyers. The other one is sellers. Okay. Buyers to buy some good here. Sellers sell this. In this market, the buyers have to pay for this good. This is cost of the buyers. But once the buyers buy this good, the buyers enjoy this good. So enjoy the good. This is a benefit. Okay, this is benefit. So cost and benefit of this good is in this market. The buyers. And think about the sellers. What is the cost of sellers? Cost of sellers is probably the cost of making this product. Okay, cost is cost of production. Okay, that's the cost. What is the benefit? They sell this this good at this price and they make money, the profit. Okay, that's the benefit. The profit. So, typical market, cost and benefit are within this market. Cost and benefit goes to buyers and sellers. But in some cases, cost or benefit go to the parties outside the market. Some people, okay, who are not the buyers of this good, other people, okay, the cost and benefit goes to the people outside of this market. The cost and benefit that goes to people outside the market is called externalities. So externalities is what? Cost and benefit external to this market. That is called externality. So if we have to define externalities, this is nothing but cost or benefit external to this market. It's called externalities. If it is the cost, then this case is called negative externality. If it is the benefit external to this market, then this is called positive externality. That's the concept. Negative externality means that cost external to this market. What is positive externality? That's nothing but benefit external to this market. So we have these two different externalities. Then let's talk about some examples of externalities. So first, think about negative externalities. So let's talk about negative externalities. Usually, this negative externality is caused by pollution. Okay, pollution. Okay, hazardous materials. Okay, and this one. Okay, congestion. Okay, or traffic jam. They cause negative externalities. So now let's talk about this case. Let's think about a petrochemical product. Okay, chemical product. And think about a market for chemical products. Okay. Usually, in order to produce a chemical product, there is some hazardous materials produced by byproduct. Okay? And then if that hazardous materials are just released to the river or the air, then they cause a lot of troubles. Okay? Then think about this case. So think about this market for chemical product. Then there will be a demand for this chemical product. Okay? Some people must buy some chemical product. Think about pesticide. Some people need pesticide. Okay, so there is a demand, and some people make this chemical product. Then in this market, price of this chemical product is determined at this level. Okay, let's say P0, and then how much chemical product is traded in this market? Let's say Q0. Okay, this is quantity, and this is price. So if we do not know this concept, this market seems to have equilibrium and seems to work properly. Price of a product is set this level, and this much of product is traded in this market, and it has equilibrium at this level. It seems okay. But if you look at this market more closely, this market is not okay. Why? Because of this pollution. Because this pollution, people nearby this chemical products factory may have cancers and other disease. Then these neighbors have to pay to treat this disease. So there is cost. They have to treat this disease. These neighbors are not the buyers of this chemical product. These neighbors are not the supplier of this chemical product. These people are outside of this market, external to this market, but they have to pay some of the cost because of this market. So there is a cost external to this market. Then this case is called negative externalities. Okay. Then this is not desirable to our society. It's not desirable to our society. People may have to drink, polluted water. People, breathe hazardous, the air quality is so bad, right? That's not good to our society. So this outcome is not optimal to society because of this pollution. So this outcome is not okay. So then what is the socially then what is the socially optimal outcome in this market? Socially optimal outcome in this market is that we do not have the pollution. So there's no disease to these people. That's the socially optimal outcome. Then consider how can fix this market. Well, as long as we are able to reduce the pollution, we're not going to have this disease. We're not going to have this disease caused by pollution. Then government steps in, saying that the factories must eliminate or reduce this pollution. Then to reduce the pollution, the factories must go through additional process. So that's cost of production increases because of this additional process. It costs more to produce chemical product without pollution because of this. Then what happened to the supply of this chemical product when this happens? Then you can think about this. The cost of production increases, so suppliers trying to charge more. This is cost of reducing these hazardous materials. So what happens is that supply of chemical product must be decreased. This supply is socially optimal. Supply curve. Why socially optimal supply curve? Because this process is included in this supply curve. Then under this socially optimal supply curve, we need this equilibrium. And therefore, at this equilibrium, price of the chemical product must be this level, P1, not P0. And this much of a product must be traded, produced. So this is the socially optimal outcome. This one, socially suboptimal outcome. This is not socially optimal outcome, but this is socially optimal outcome. So by comparing these two outcomes, which is socially optimal, this is not, then we say that if we have negative externalities, what happened to the market? Or we produce too much, overproduce of this chemical product at lower price. Overproduce. That means we spend too much resources to produce this chemical product. That's why this outcome is inefficient allocation of resources. We spend too much resources to produce too much chemical product. If we have negative externality. Do you get it? Okay. So now, then let's talk about positive externality. Then what is positive externality? This is case there is a benefit external to the market. Okay. Example of this case is the vaccine and maybe education and so on. Okay. Then let's talk about this case, the vaccine. So think about flu vaccine. Okay. Then there is a market for flu vaccine, right? Every fall, the people go and get the flu vaccine at $25. Okay, or if they have a insurance, they get the flu vaccine for free. Okay, so this price of flu vaccine, this is quantity of flu vaccine, there is a demand and there is supply of vaccine. So in this market, okay, so this is market for flu vaccine. Okay, then we have equilibrium. This level price will be determined this level, and this much of a vaccine is going to be used. So it looks okay. We have equilibrium. At this equilibrium, we have this price. We have this much of quantity of vaccine is traded. It looks okay, but actually it is not. It is not. It's not. Okay. Why? Because this vaccine provides the benefit external to this market. External to this market. So there is some people who do not get the flu vaccine, maybe beneficial, maybe benefited because of the people who got the vaccines. Okay. So these people may think that, oh, I don't have to get a vaccine because other people get a vaccine, so that I don't have to get a vaccine. So these people are not buyers of the vaccine, okay? But they enjoy some benefit, okay? Some benefit. So this market have positive externalities. Then if there is positive externalities, then this outcome is not socially optimal. It's not socially optimal. Think about why these people, or even some potential buyers, have to pay $25 to get flu vaccine if they can be okay without having this vaccine. But if these people, the demand is very, very low, then some people who do not have flu vaccine may have the flus and suffer. Okay, so this is not the socially optimal outcome. So what if this positive externalities are not available to these people? Then they all go and try to get this vaccine. So socially optimal outcome must be the case that these people get a vaccine too. So this is the demand for this vaccine that is socially optimal. This demand is not socially optimal. This is a socially optimal. So more people trying to get the vaccine. Then under this socially optimal demand, this equilibrium must be socially optimal equilibrium. So at this socially optimal equilibrium, price of vaccine must be set this level, and more vaccine must be produced and used for this society. Look at this. So by comparing these two outcomes, socially optimal outcome, this is not the socially optimal outcome, we can find is that under the positive externalities, what happened? Vaccine is underproduced. Okay, product in this case is vaccine is underproduced. That means too less resources are used for this vaccine. So this is not socially optimal. Market fails to utilize resources efficiently. If there is positive externalities. Okay, so that's why market for this flu vaccine is not efficient. It's not efficient. So in this case, government steps in and what happened? Give some incentives to make more people interested in getting a vaccine. Okay. For the case of COVID-19, right, government provides subsidies. Okay. That's one of the incentives. So that government try to increase the demand for this vaccine. Okay. Why? Because this is socially optimal. Under this socially optimal, people who suffer from this flu or the COVID-19 will be minimized. That's the socially optimal case.